We're live.
We're live. Hello.
Hi, we're doing this.
Well, welcome.
Hello. We're so happy to be here. Welcome to Wilding Women's Retreats Discovery Call. This call will cover our Sanctus Hut cabin that is focused on the perimenopausal and menopausal transitions. It is located outside Telluride, Colorado. It is a cabin nature-based retreat focused on building and being in community. And the purpose of this retreat is to honor the transitions of womanhood, specifically around perimenopause and menopause, something that society doesn't really recognize. So the three of us met at a nature-based training in Lyons, Colorado, with Katie Asmus, and we developed a friendship over the last 3 years, and we all had a focus on helping women in various ways, specifically women's issues. So to my left is Tamara. So Tamara, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tamara. So I coach and consult with leaders and individuals. It's sort of my day job, and my coming into this work, this retreat specifically, is experiencing early menopause myself, starting in my late 30s, and then actually full-on menopause in my early 40s, and really realizing that I didn't have a community to talk to me about these things, and no one was normalizing the experiences, let alone even, sharing experiences. There's a lot of stereotypes and myths and half-truths and mistruths and everything, and it just didn't really feel empowering. So my desire is that no one else ever has to experience that. So that's sort of the path coming into this specific retreat, as well as a lifetime of supporting women and women leaders and women's education throughout my career, previously as an academic and research and all sorts of other things. So I'm excited to get out into the wilderness with my lovely partners and you all.
Yes.
Kipri?
You didn't introduce yourself. Tell us about you.
Oh, you're free to go next. Oh,
Yeah.
my name is Nicole Jefferson, Nick. I own Wilding Women Therapy. My practice came to fruition after doing my own healing in nature that started almost 7 years ago. So although I do have a therapist, my first therapist was Mother Nature, and I found myself in nature, and I realized if that can happen for me, then I also wanted to facilitate that for other people, specifically women. I have not entered the transition of perimenopause or menopause yet, but it is coming up a lot in my work with women and in my circles. And I realized that we need to normalize this conversation and just deconstruct the shame that seems to be around it and the conversation, even in the medical world. So I want to highlight that and honor that in a space of community, specifically in nature, because she is non-judgmental, and that's how this should be viewed. I am a therapist. I focus predominantly on women and empowering women to be their best self, and I do a lot of this in nature. So I'm really excited to get out there with all of you. But our other colleague and friend is Kifri.
I just want to say that you're the brains behind this, right? So Paonia last summer was amazing. And I was like, I've got to come. How can I support you? I want to be part of this. What you're doing is amazing. And, I think it's so funny that we met in 2017 at this training, right? No. That's a different training. 2021. 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
All those COVID years are such a time warp.
They are. Yeah.
But we reconnected because that's when I came out and I was like, hey, I want to see you guys. What are you doing? And we sat at this table and had this amazing conversation about, like, yeah, menopause, what the hell is happening to our bodies? And why is nobody talking about it? So that's a big part of the why for me for this specific retreat. I think the last 2-3 years of my own personal life and my work with women has definitely, these things are just everywhere. Menopause and symptoms, and how do we help each other, and how do we change the narrative of the conversation? Because honestly, my grandma and my aunt and my mom just told us how horrible it was, and hot flashes and just terrible. And it's like, okay, is there any more information you could give me on that? Like, so yeah, as not a formal researcher, but I want to know why, but why is this happening? So I kind of went down that rabbit hole and found a great provider, a woman provider that is talking about these things. And I was just like on fire for learning the information. And then it became apparent that I just can't wait to share this with all the women who come through my practice. Like, they're seeing all these things and they don't have a name for it. So opening a space where they get to name their experience and feel validated and seen and heard is, you know, why I want to be part of this work. And being in community with women and being in nature have been two of the most powerful healers in my own life. And so continuing to create space for that is just where my work is moving. And I want to move out of the office and do these things and take these deep dives in beautiful spaces. Like, it just deepens the work.
Yeah, what a great segue too for why this location, why Telluride, why all the things. And it also makes me think about, I want to make sure we share. So can I just go ahead and like tease this now?
Beautiful.
Whether you're coming on the retreat with this or not, and we hope that you are, you can definitely take advantage of this free webinar we're going to do on April 3rd at 6:30 Mountain Time, all about this idea of like shattering the stereotypes around the, perimenopausal journey. And how to really break down those stereotypes within ourselves so that we can then also be a catalyst for that change around us and build community, and really just build a community of support, because we're not living from all of the stereotypes that perhaps we've heard from family or like we've not heard. My own mother, who was an OBGYN nurse, had no response to me about how her menopause went. So, right, like we all have these things that we take in directly and indirectly about this. So we're here to help change that. And this retreat is one of those powerful ways out in nature, as is an online webinar that is free for everyone to access.
Yeah, thanks for that, Tamara. Did you want to talk a little bit about the flow of the days, Tamara? Like what participants can expect, like what the days will look like, expectations?
Yeah. So we have, let me share this also for folks. So we have a great website created that's going to be uploaded with more and more information. Oh, hold on, my stop share. Let me try that again. Here we go. So I want to make sure everybody has the resource for the website first. So it's on Nick's website. It's www.wildingtherapy.com. And if we go into retreats there, you will find the information here. So all of the information is there for you. But what I think is really important for folks to know, though, is that this retreat will have daily movement. This will look like some guided yoga, which yours truly gets to get back in the yoga teacher spot for that, some meditation or visualization activities, some hiking and some wild swimming. And Kifri will be sharing some meditation and some acupuncture work. Perhaps you'd like to share a little highlight of what that looks like for you, Kif?
Yeah, meditation, gosh, I've been practicing in one way or another for 20 years now, and it's just another one of those anchors. So I think our aim with this is to give you daily practices that you can take home and implement that are not, you have to go out and do some big thing to achieve this inner peace. No, these are simple daily practices that hopefully in our time together, you can see how easy it is to implement into your daily life. Yeah, so meditation, AccuDetox. So this is a 5-point acupuncture protocol in your ear, which is the short map of the body. And it's just really like tuning into nature, tuning into your inner wisdom, tuning into the wisdom of your own body, mind, and spirit to bring into balance what needs bringing into balance. It's not something I do to you. It is something you sit with and cultivate. So yeah, excited to bring that and do it in the realm of being held by Mother Nature.
Yeah, I love that. Some of the other things we have planned for this specific retreat are reflection and community circles, but as well as grief circles and fire ceremony with some symbolic burning of shame and stories and social messaging, and really helping you create the journey that you want to have, right? To really kind of shake off the external messaging or the internal messaging that we all have absorbed in various ways, and really make this to be your journey, right? Your journey of empowerment, your journey of using this as an invitation to a major life transition. And so that you come out of the retreat on the other side feeling more grounded, held by nature, held by a community of women, and confident, right, in this transition that can last from a few years to 10 to 20, right? Right. And then there's also the other side of that, right? So that we go through and we take up this, for me, it feels like this women's leadership piece. And leadership, not necessarily in like a positional piece, but maybe that is relevant as well. But really this leadership, this community, how are we leading community? How are we leading for ourselves? Are there other things about
wise teacher, sage wisdom, stepping into that next phase of who we are and how we lead is so important.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like that. I have a former coach that used to sort of talk about that, like queen energy, right? Like, how are we showing up and like owning this with the information and the support, and that inner wisdom and that inner grounding that we can access in spending these days in nature. Another beautiful thing about the design of this retreat are our communal pieces. From our meals to our venue, rooms and community gathering outside, and all of that as well.
That's a good segue for how we feel our bodies, right? And going through this COVID piece where we were all isolated, and now I think we're still coming out of it and learning how to be in community again. And even before COVID, it was like our lives are so busy. It's often we don't have time to sit in community with other women, unfortunately. So creating those spaces, but talking about food and sharing a meal together and how we sit and talk about life and things and giving that space is built into this retreat as a very important healing piece too. The food we'll be eating will be lovingly nourishing to our hearts, bodies, minds, and souls. But talking about what we ingest, not only food is medicine, right? But so is community of women. So is nature, so is our surroundings. Like, what are we taking in? What are we filling our days with? And so that as a daily practice, just being conscious of what we choose to intake and ingest.
And all of the food is catered for this retreat. So
yes,
come with us, and you don't have to plan your meals or prepare them, right? Which is like, whew, right? You get to be held so that you can do the inner work, so that you can connect you can connect with others in a meaningful way, you can connect with nature, and like sign me up for that. Like that there alone feels so good.
I don't have to think about what to cook. I don't have to go to the store and buy it, and I don't have to cook it. Yes.
Only obligation is to show.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Lovely. Do we want to talk about the venue next? The beautiful venue, the beautiful backdrop, the beautiful cabins.
Tell us all about it, Nicole.
I think that's a great, speaking of food, it's a great segue.
Yes. So the picture on the left is the cabin where participants will be staying. There is a camp stove, there's water, there's a place to make coffee if you'd like to do that before everyone wakes up. And then on the right is Leslie, who is the one of the 4 people that owns this property. But she is an amazing cook. She is my old neighbor, and her husband and brother and sister-in-law bought this property as a way to give back and help people heal and get out of the city and to get away from just the obligations of the world and just to let nature hold them. So they bought this property a year ago. I reached out to them when I saw that they were starting to host, and she offered to cook all 3 meals. And I've had her food before, and it is delicious, and she is an incredible host. And I'm lucky that I also get to sit at this table and be nourished by her. So yeah, it's rustic, but we will also be taken care of, if that makes sense.
Hey, Nick, what if people are curious about specific dietary needs?
Yeah, so upon registration, you will, as soon as you click register, you'll be, a prompt will upload with a document which has dietary needs, specific foods that you like, don't like. So we will cater each meal to your allergies, needs, likes, dislikes. So that will completely be taken care of.
Awesome. Where will we stay?
Yes, so on the right is a picture of one of the rooms. So there's 4 twin beds, and then there is 1 double bed, which is a private room. The single beds are all shared rooms. And this is a picture of the cabin, one of the cabins. It is solar run, so that they ask that you are conscientious of how much you turn the lights on and how much energy that you use. There is no running water in one of the cabins, but running water and toilets and shower is available in the main cabin where the facilitators will be staying, which you are welcome to come and use. Yeah. If you are camping, a side note here is that you are responsible for bringing your own gear, and we can offer places within Telluride or Denver, wherever you fly into, that you can rent gear if you don't want to travel with it if you're coming out of state.
Awesome.
Yeah. So The property is nestled in the San Juan Mountains, which are probably one of the most beautiful mountain ranges in Colorado.
By far.
By far. We have access right out the door. So most of our days will be spent on single track hiking to alpine lakes and just embodying what nature has for us out there. And on the right is a picture of what it looks like in fall. So there is no shortage of beauty and color, and it's just a majestic piece of property that we all look forward to sharing with you.
Hey, Nicole, for Texas girls and low elevation peeps like me,
Yes.
tell, tell us more about elevation and how we can prepare for that.
Yeah, so the property is above 9,000 feet. So there is a risk of altitude sickness, but we will ensure that you are prepared as best as possible so that we don't experience that. We will have electrolytes on hand. I encourage you to drink them throughout the day and also to be aware of like what you're putting in your body and how often. So eating and drinking regularly is really important. If you're coming out of state, I would recommend staying in Denver for a night so you can get acclimatized a little bit and then make the drive up to Telluride. But again, please make sure that if anything is bothering you altitude-wise, sickness-wise, that you just talk to one of us and we can help you to alleviate any symptoms that you're having and ways that we can support you to ensure that your needs are being met.
For this retreat, are there any physical requirements or sort of baseline expectations for, our movement, our hiking, or, wild swimming, anything like that that would be important for folks to know?
Yeah, I think having a baseline level of fitness is important, like walking anywhere from like 2 to 4 miles a day, maybe 3 times a week by the time the retreat comes up. If you have hills by your house, like maybe getting on some trails or rolling neighborhoods, just so physically you can enjoy yourself while you're at the retreat. Anything else I'm missing?
Would you say that with this one, things are still like optional though? So if you're wanting to like hang back, I'm part introvert. And so I could imagine there might be times where I'm like, oh, group hike, I'm not really sure I'm feeling that. I might like some time to hang back at the cabin by myself. Or what do we kind of feel is like the general, like optional, recommended, required?
Yeah, I mean, like I think all of us agree that like it's important that whatever your comfort level is that you listen to your body because that is part of us helping you to be empowered individuals. But if you're feeling like you don't want to do the hike, you're welcome to stay back at the cabin and journal or just sit in nature or find a sit spot. These are just recommendations for what we have offered at the retreat. But if there is like a workshop or an activity that you're not feeling, obviously we encourage you to just take care of yourself and what your body needs in that moment.
Yeah. This kind of makes me think of this is not a therapeutic retreat, but there will be therapists on hand. So if something does bubble up, definitely you've got space to talk about that.
Yeah. And we'll have lots of circle time for sharing and reflecting, journaling prompts. There will be the structure or in the invitation of guided work, and always, as Nick said, right, the listening to your body, right? This is what so much of the menopause journey I have learned for myself is learning to be embodied in a way that honors what's actually happening and builds that self-advocacy and that self-trust. And then we all here honor that for your experience through this retreat as well, and through the whole like before retreat and after kind of experience.
And I think I would also add that this is a 100% non-judgmental space. And if you feel like sharing openly, you are more than welcome. But we also honor if you don't want to share. or if you want to share in private. We hold space for all of that. So the only expectation is to show up as yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else, ladies?
That's a good flow of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the only thing I would add, we have on the website some like, who is this for? And so after listening to this, like if you feel like you want to sit with other women who are committed to some personal growth, you want to have some deep conversations, you want to feel held by the land and others, you want to feel witnessed, you're ready to receive others, you want to feel that community, right? That support. That's who this is for, right?
Longing to slow down. Yeah.
And also, if there's people in your community that you want to invite, like that's another piece here, is that if there's a friend that you want to bring, share the website, share the retreat. Maybe it's not for them this year, but maybe it's for them next year.
Yeah. A sibling.
Work beyond our own skin, right? Is that as we do this work, we invite others to do the same. And that's the beauty of healing.
Yeah.
Women are a wealth of information. We're going to learn so much from you all, just as much as you're going to learn from us. It's just this idea of sharing. Each of us have our own wisdom to share.
Absolutely.
And the researcher in me is reading all of the books to share with you all.
Yes.
So that you don't have to wade through the bullshit. I will do that for you. Yes, I love that one too.
Yes. So many good books. Yeah. All the books.
So can I do another wrap up, share out? Look for the information on this webinar coming up, more on the topic. Invite your friends, family, neighbor, and let's just get more conversation going around perimenopause and menopause as the catalyst for more empowered living. And so last things to add?
Come have some fun. Let's play.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
Do the thing. Sign up, reach out, ask questions.
Yeah. Take a risk on yourself.
We'll see you there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Take a risk on yourself. Invest in yourself. We'll be there. Okay.